Hi, this is John Ondo from Marketing Media and Cupcakes. And before we get into today's episode, I just want to say thank you so much for listening. We're back after being gone for over 4.5 years. And I hope you get a chance to listen to episode 77, where we explain why we were gone for so long and that we're back for at least 3 more episodes. Angel and I are big supporters of entrepreneurship, and we love small businesses and faith-based businesses. And we just want to encourage you through our podcast each week. What's going to determine if we continue with more episodes will be the response. Subscribe to us on your platform. Send us an email at john@ondomedia.com. That would help us know you're listening and you want more episodes. So thank you so much, and let's get into today's episode. Well, let's talk about it. We can talk about SEO.
Okay, so here's this term, John, that I've heard you and other media friends chat about, and I'm
Geeks.
I love you because I love geeks.
This is the small business podcast that is sweeter than all the rest. Marketing, media, and cupcakes.
This is episode 14 of Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes. I'm John Ondo, and with me is my wife, Angel.
Hi there.
We are a podcast from small business, for small business, by small business. I am a filmmaker, and I do commercials and television production and documentaries, and Angel does 2 jobs. She's a customer service trainer. I never like saying that word because I feel like you have like a whip and a little hoop, and you're making...
At times,
Go
it
through the
feels
hoop.
like it.
Say hello and all this.
Yes.
It feels like that, I'm sure, at times. But she does a great job doing customer service, and we want to get to talk about that here in another future episode. But she also, on the side, she loves making cupcakes, and she has a little small business. It's not a brick and mortar. She bakes cupcakes out of our house here, and it's custom. Everything is custom that she does, and she's growing her business. So we have a discussion here each week, sometimes with guests, sometimes just with us. And it's been a week for us. I had a busy week. I call them shoots because it's media. We're doing shooting, and not with guns, but with cameras. And it was a busy week. And I'm just glad. The whole reason we do this podcast, quite honestly, is so I have a half an hour to talk with Angel.
Yeah, I think if I totaled up the last 7 days, I've seen him maybe 3 hours.
Well, the good news is you'll see me more this week because all the stuff that we shot has to be edited. So that's what happens next. So first, let me have Angel do what she does best. She's going to give us another baking tip.
Yes. Well, sorry.
Not my best intro ever.
That's okay. So everyone, gluten is apparently the evilest thing on the universe.
What is gluten? Is it a germ? What is it exactly?
Well, the unfortunate reality is because of how our food is processed, that is why people are becoming more and more intolerant to gluten.
Oh, they're going to say intolerant of other people.
Oh, well, there's that
that's
too.
my problem right now. I've got too much gluten because I'm intolerant of everything.
He's intolerant of it. He
Oh
is
my
truly
gosh.
intolerant of many things. And when someone brings up the word gluten, it usually upsets him. And it's okay.
We used to just
gluten
eat
is a
stuff.
substance present in cereal grains, especially wheat, that is responsible for the elastic texture of dough. Here's the beautiful thing.
Oh, this happened on a
bread,
Star Trek episode. They had that in the Quadro Triticale. They had a thing in that on the space station, and it got inert, and all the tribbles died. So what?
Sweet
so
Jesus.
what? So what?
Where did we just go?
The gluten-free is
Oh, my
basically
goodness.
the poison in the Quadro Triticale.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Now I understand gluten-free. So,
Okay.
my God, yes, we need to fix that.
Oh, we need to fix it. So here's my tip. For those of you who have friends or relatives who are trying to be gluten-free, and I would say being gluten-free for personal reasons, not medical. And here's why. So I am able to there are products out there that you can purchase that are a replacement for, in most baked goods, what you use is flour, and you can replace it with this gluten-free baking substitute, is the way I'll call it. And there's so many out there.
Is it like organic then? Is it that we have
It's
to
not
use,
organic.
We have to use
necessarily.
wheat that's
No.
stuff in
So
it?
it's basically it's instead of using wheat, which is what flour is made of, it's using rice or almond or some other.
Because no wheat is good anymore because it all has gluten in it now.
For those who have a gluten sensitivity or who choose for dietary reasons to not have gluten, then there are many things that they cannot have because it has gluten in them. it's weird.
It's the
I get
poison
it.
and the quadrivalent.
Sure, whatever
And all the
the hell
tribbles
you're
die.
saying. Okay. But you can buy this stuff, and one of my favorite is called Namaste. But there's so many different varieties.
Okay.
And I pick up the biggest bucket of it that they have at Costco, and it's called Namaste.
So I'm assuming the problem is when you replace the God-ordained wheat that everything is baked in that tastes great, that kills people apparently, and replace it with something that's healthy, as we all know, it tastes worse.
No.
Okay. So this is a solution that will fix
So
everything.
this is a solution, and again, you have to be savvy, but you can buy this stuff. And so if you are making your grandma's favorite, chocolate cake recipe, and you want to be able to have that, use that recipe for someone, all you do is you buy this stuff, and it's a 1-to-1 replacement. So if it calls for 2.5 cups of flour, you just replace it with 2.5 cups of this gluten-free product. And it's, making sure that none of your other items contain or have gluten in them. But that's why I said I don't ever promise to be 100% gluten-free, because I am in a home, or nut-free for that matter, because again, I do
because
bake out
I'm
of my
here,
home
and
well.
that's why. Yeah.
There's a lot of nuts in this house, and they're in the cupboard, and then they also live here too. But I can't, with a good conscience, tell somebody this is 100% gluten-free. Other people who I've handed a gluten-free cupcake, especially my red velvet or my chocolate, if I've not said anything to them,
don't know.
they're always like, "Oh, this is really good,"
Yeah.
and that's all they say. Now, when I tell someone this is gluten-free, and they're like, "Oh, I wondered what was different about it." For me, I can tell it's a texture thing.
But it's, yeah, and
It's
I think
100% texture.
a little less fluffy or something.
It's a little more dense depending on what you've done.
This
It's
is
a
what
little
people
more
say
dense,
about me.
and it has a little bit more. Sometimes, depending on how well I have mixed the batter, it may taste a little grainy. But that's where icing comes in. Icing cures
Fixes
all
everything.
things.
Sure.
So
it's like you've just made me never want to ever go into the kitchen again, because there's quadrivalent that's going to kill the tribbles, and
only if you're allergic to the quada, triple, whatever the hell you're saying.
But the thing about it is, it's like, but you said you can do the substitute and then put a lot of sugar on it, and it's okay.
well, no, it's
and
the same recipe that you would make.
But
You're not adding anything
But you're
new.
using a substitute for
I am
whatever.
substituting one ingredient
Yeah, and
for a different ingredient that
but-
does not have gluten.
and then the taste covers up, and it's no different than when I do a video and you have a bad shot or something. You do the J.J. Abrams, you put a light flare in it and make it look flashy for a second
there you
to
go.
cover up the fact that something's wrong on it. So that's what we do in filmmaking, is we do the J.J. light flares.
There you go.
So anyway, that's also another Star Trek reference. So we're kind of bleeding into a couple other things here, but
dare say.
so today we're going to talk about how you recently have been bothered by the people from Yelp, and you wanted to talk to me about that.
John made some edits to his own site because of where the hosting platform was, and I say that not that I know what that meant, but
My geeky definition is I've been on a WordPress website that I have built and managed for literally 12 years, and I jumped off the cliff and got rid of it, and I moved to another platform. And so I had to redo the website, but in the long term, I think it will do better on Google and so forth. And it's actually the same platform you're on, and so I made some changes to yours because I learned a few things doing mine, and so it's this kind of stuff is tricky. And one of the things we talk about, you might be saying, well, John, you've been talking about vision and all this stuff on the last few episodes. What does that have to do with marketing or media or cupcakes? It has a lot to do with it, because with marketing, if I don't know where you're going, I can't market for you, because I need to know who your audience is. I need to know what your tagline is. But you can't build a tagline. You can't build a website. You can't put an ad on Google unless you know what your target is.
Well, John made these changes, and I guess I didn't realize he was making these changes, and then I got this random phone call that I, of course, declined, and then I then got another one from the same number, and then I declined.
Hello, is Angel there?
Yeah, I didn't even
Is the
answer.
owner of the business there?
And so finally, and then I kept getting these voicemails from this lovely girl saying, "This is so-and-so with Yelp." And I'm like, "What?"
Yelp.
And I'm like, "What the hell is this?" And so then I had emails from her, and I said, "Okay, I'm getting all these things from Yelp." He went, "Oh, yeah, I changed a few things on your website, so you're now listed on Yelp." I'm like, "Oh, okie dokie." So this girl would not leave me alone. Just
Persistent.
would not leave me alone. So
Is that
finally,
a good customer service thing?
I know she had some sales numbers to meet. Let's just put it that way. She was delightful to chat with, but she was not going to let go until I talked to her. So finally, when I had a moment, I said, all right, I'm so tired of you calling me. So I called her back, and I was very direct with her.
Yeah.
But she was like, so, blah, 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 blah. And I just, again, her voice was slightly annoying to me because it was way too, I don't know, just way too valley,
hyper.
too high, too hyper, and I'm like, you want to sell me something so bad. There's a point of sounding friendly, and then there's fake.
And then there's like the golden retriever kind of thing that we have with her. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? I see you again. How you doing?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it was just, she's like, oh, okay. So, and I explained to her, I said, here's the scoop. My husband made some edits, did some stuff to my website. Now, apparently I'm on Yelp. She goes, well, I'm here to help you grow your business. I said, I have no interest in that right now.
No interest in growing my business.
And she was like, oh, and I said,
can you help me not grow my business?
And she was kind of taken aback by that. I said, let me clarify. I said, what? I said, right now, I have a full-time job. This is a part-time thing. I have not got a clear idea of when or if this will ever become a full-time thing. So for me to waste your time, because I know it's very valuable.
So this has to all do a little bit with search engine optimization. If you've ever heard anybody talk about SEO, it is not a league in college football, but that would be the SEC, and don't get me started with that. So the SEO is an important part of people finding your website, possibly finding your Facebook page and some other things. So the more connected you are, especially on Google loves to see that you play well with others. The more links and more of a network you build, Google loves you more. So again, have a LinkedIn page, have a Google page, have my mind just went blank, a Yelp page.
Oh.
So that's a great starting point. Then the next step is reviews. Now, because here's what happens, and this is the dangerous slope of reviews, because we all know there are people out there who are jerks, and they will write bad reviews, and because to make the system fair, you can't remove reviews that are bad, you end up with a bad review. I have a client who is a great guy, does great work, but he somehow, some jerk got mixed up with him. He felt like he got screwed over, and he wrote a horrible review. And, he called me up. It's like, how do I get this off? I said, we're not going to be able to get it off, but we will bury it with more good reviews. And that's all you can do.
Yep.
And you see that on Amazon. And let's face it, when you go to Amazon, you want to see those 4.5 to 5 stars before you buy something.
Yep.
So same thing with Yelp, same thing with Google. Get reviews. Now, a few weeks ago, I had a little video chat with everybody where I talked about testimonials.
Yes.
And that's what this is all about, is, just like you need, I'm a big believer in video testimonials, but when you get somebody who loves what you do, and let's face it, you have to have somebody who loves what you do, because I don't know why you would be in business. I've never seen anybody who said, everyone hates my product.
Yes.
I'm going to do this full time.
I'm going to continue on.
I'm going to continue on. So that's why you've got people who love your product. So I just had a wonderful client. We did some videos, and I forget this. It's all of we're busy. And I said, hey, Michelle, would you please write a review for me, would you? And I'll also correspond with a review for your business, which we worked with. And so she wrote a review for me. I believe it was on LinkedIn. I did one back on her on LinkedIn. I've got some people who've done it on Google. It's really important you do it on as many of the platforms as you can, because it just depends on where you're searching. If you're on Yelp, you want to see 5 stars for your cupcake place. But if you're on Google, you need to see it, and that all these pieces, parts help your ratings and helps your SEO. So you may be sitting back today going, I've got a great website. I paid for somebody to do it. I've got stuff on Facebook. I've got Instagram. I got LinkedIn, and I'm getting no business. My question would be, are you getting reviews? To just go back to my chat way back when, it was the week that Angel was up in Michigan doing call center training stuff and making people go through hoops with her whip. We just bought a Kia Telluride.
Okay. Love my Telluride.
If the president of Kia called you up on the phone and said, "Hi, I'd like to tell you about the Kia Telluride," and he gives you a little list of stuff, and you go, "Thank you, Mr. Kia SEO CEO. Thank you for calling," and you hang up and go like, "Okay, duh, you're the CEO. What are you gonna do?" But if Angel would call you up and you said, "Tell me about your Kia," she'll go on for a half an hour, and I would.
I tell everybody about it.
About the Kia, you'd go, "Okay, I like Angel, and she's driven it. Was ready to buy a GM, and she switched to Kia and all this stuff, and she owned an Infiniti." So, you suddenly go like, "Oh, well, she's a real person driving this real car. I'm going to take that." So in this example, and we probably have all had something, either a computer or a car or a phone that we have told somebody you should, or a restaurant, you should try this. The best way to get that message across is a testimonial. I always say through video, but other forms of testimonials are your review. Mm-hmm. So you absolutely, as a business owner, if you're not doing this, you are absolutely missing the boat. I'll just be that upfront. You have to ask for reviews. And almost anybody's going to say absolutely, because if they love your product, you don't typically ask somebody who's getting ready to hit a baseball bat into your your business sign. You've got people that you love who are regulars, and you just say, "Hey, would you mind just writing a quick review? You can give them a discount or something like that. I don't think that there's any points off because they're giving up their time for doing the review." Even if you had that review on a poster in your front window, that I think is great. But imagine if you could take that poster and put it on your website, put it on your social media, put it on your Yelp. That is going to do huge, huge things, because when people go there, and you've done this, I don't know how many times we've gone and visited cupcake shops. Mm-hmm. You look at the reviews and you see amazing, these are great, they're fabulous, and what do you want to? You want to go there.
Oh yeah.
So, and I've written reviews, and I'll tell people, I did this earlier this week. I did a little quick 2-minute video giving a tour of our little studio here.
Yes, you did.
Here's the SM50 or SM48 microphones, and here's the Behringer amp I'm using, and here's the thingy, and all the whatchamacallits. And you know what? I'm sure people are going to go, if he's using that and we like the sound of their podcast, this is maybe what we should use. So this is what I'm talking about. I cannot emphasize enough. If you have a taco truck, if you have a hardware store, if you are Tim Cook and you run Apple, and you're listening to me, which you should be, you go with the testimonial. So my big advice to those of you who you've got all the stuff, you made the investment, you're doing the social media, you're putting then you need to do two things. Get reviews on your website. You don't need a lot, but consistently get reviews. And don't get 10 and then dump all 10 on at once. Spread them out over a period of time. But get reviews wherever you can get them, on whatever pages you can get them. That will make a difference with your business. The next thing that I want to mention real quickly is a lot of people say, "Well, I've got an Instagram account and it's not growing." I had a client this week. I was a little frustrated that I said, "Hey, how's your Instagram account?" He says, "We've given up on Instagram." To me, that was like saying we've given up on electricity. We've gone back to candles. But for whatever reason, they've chosen to go back and not do anything with Instagram. And I don't know the whole story, but that's really shocking to hear that. So this is what I say when people say, I'm not getting any growth on Instagram, I'm not finding people, finding me. Here's what you've got to do. You've got to go fish. This is the quick story on Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes. We started our Instagram page, obviously, the same week we launched the podcast, and I bought ads. We put the little promos about the shows we were doing, and I was trying to get it in front of people. And we got 3 or 4 people who liked us. Most of them were people who had no posts and no followers. So it was worthless buys. I don't know what Instagram was doing. And I had spent maybe $40. I mean, that's not a lot of money, but to me it is. And nothing happened. What I ended up taking our followers from 30 to 130 overnight was I got on there and I started following other cupcake media small business people. And you know what? They all liked me back. And instantaneously, without spending any money, we tripled our friends. And it's been growing exponentially ever then. I need to go back through and do that again. Now, I know some people sit back and say, well, John, I don't like following 2,000 people, and I only have 100 followers. Who cares?
Yeah.
You're growing your account. Do not, and I beg of you, do not respond to people who say we can generate followers, because what you end up doing in some cases, not all cases, they're buying from these phone farms out in wherever they're at, third world countries, and those are fake. And Instagram and Google and all those people, when they see that you had 30 followers on Monday and 150,000 followers on Friday, they realize you bought those.
Yeah.
And they're not legitimate, and they're following 80 million other people. So those do not work. Those will hurt your SEO thing. So don't do that. Just go and friend more people, let it grow organically, and build relationships. I just believe that works. There's a lot of podcasts out there talking about, you can grow and grow and grow and grow. It's like, my point is, if you don't have content, you've got nothing to grow for. You can get 150,000 followers, but if you're posting, things that nobody wants to read, nobody wants to like, it's not interesting, it's not catchy or whatever, you wasted your time and money to get all these followers, and you're not doing the content. So basically, to kind of recap, Yelp and all these things, get those on your site. And if you're struggling right now with getting new business, I encourage you've got to get reviews. Have you got reviews on your site? And then when you do get reviews, just blast them. Our good friend Shelly, who's got her little small business, got some reviews and was putting them up on Instagram, and I was reading them, and I'm like, this is great. It's exactly what you want to do. And she does a weight loss thing. So she's showing pictures of the women who've lost weight and reviews. Perfect. That's exactly what you want to do with a business like that. You and I have been to it's a great burger place, Five Guys Burgers. Five Guys.
Oh, yes. And it's been a long time since.
And they always have those newspapers.
Yes.
And it's always the reviews when they launch in a new city. Like, Seattle loves Five Guys. I love that. Because I want to walk into a place and go, I'm in a winner. It's by no mistake, if you come to our home, I work out of my home. If you come downstairs to where my office is, the first thing you're going to see is a whole placard of awards and things from businesses and nonprofits I've done stuff with, because I want you to feel like you're working with a winner, because you are.
Yes,
you should be. I feel that way. And I like to remind my wife that if she comes downstairs, if she sees all that, it's like, okay. So likewise, be proud of your work and put those reviews up there. Put a little card with a pen in it. Digital is great. I'm not like an old school guy, but sometimes just getting a postcard, sticking it on a bulletin board in your business, where somebody says, I love this place, I give it 5 stars, or you get some stuff printed up, put it up there. People want to see other people have been here and they like this place, and they're just automatically going to tell you should go to this place. You should see all the cards they got up on the wall of all the people who love it.
And I would have to say that's probably where 95, if not higher, because I don't have that kind of math skill, percentage of my business is from other people.
Right.
And people who have come to me who have never, ever tasted a single thing I've ever made.
Yeah.
But because of a friend of theirs, they now are ordering, and not sometimes very small. It could be something rather significant. And they have 100% faith in what it's going to taste like.
Yeah.
And which is so, it's just mind-boggling to me. But that's the faith that they have in their friend in judging the fact that what I have is a good product. So I always appreciate that.
The reviews are critical, and the other thing I would suggest, if there is an award, a competition, something that your business can be in, even if it's a Chamber of Commerce, you've been in the Chamber for 10 years kind of award, it's by no mistake, I have 4 Emmys sitting on a shelf here, and I've got like 6 of these Telly Awards and other awards, and I display them. I could have done all the same video work and not submitted for any awards, but I hate to say it, the reason I submit for these awards is because it makes me stand out from my competition. Because when people look at me and say, John, why should we work with you? And I say, because I've got 35 years, 4 Emmys, 6 Tellys, and a whole bunch of other things. And if somebody else who's just brand new in it can't say that, I win the account. So let's face it, we are here to win. Nobody's here to really lose money, and there's enough, and I personally believe there's enough to go around. But you have to get those reviews; those are critical, and get awards. If you've got a food truck and you can get in a food truck competition and bring back something, even if you don't win, you were a finalist. That's a great thing. I had a TV show last year that I produced, did not win, but it was a finalist. So we sent out a press release. We were a finalist because you know what? That's still good. We were nationally recognized. So don't be afraid. You have to toot your horn because people want to be with a winner.
Yep.
And if you watch, again, I mentioned earlier, Apple's going to release some stuff. The first thing they are going to do for the stockholders in that meeting on Tuesday when they release the iPhone stuff is they will spend the first 20 minutes talking about, we just opened a new store. 99% of all people on the planet have iPhones, and they'll go through the whole thing about how many people update their iPhones and how they're responsive, and that whole process is at the beginning of the gig, because Apple wants to say we're a winner. You know, we know we have a competitor, but we're bigger than them, and that's a review, for lack of a better word. It's a self-promoting review, but it's a preview. So let people know you're a winner. Because you are one. And you know what? It does make you feel better when you do find out you get an award and people recognize that your work is good. Well, as we talk about reviews, here's one thing that you can help us with. You can subscribe to our podcast and also write a review. Our podcast has been growing. Now we're on week 14, and we've tried to be very consistent about posting and being helpful. And so if you could help us with a review or subscribe and share it with your friends, that would be tremendous for us, because for us to do a better job with the show, we need subscribers and we need people who are following us. So thank you so much. Don't forget, we are also on Instagram under Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes, as well as on Facebook. And again, if you have any comments, john@ondomedia.com, that's ONDO media.com, is my email address, and you can contact Angel and I there. And we're happy to also appear on other podcasts and share what we know about both cupcakes and media. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Continue to live the dream.
Connect with John and Angel via Facebook and Instagram and let us know your thoughts. Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes is a production of Ondo Media.